Today is Monday, August 22nd, 2022. It is also day 196 of Blender, and today I'm going to do another text animation with geometry nodes. So I'll go to General, go to Geometry Nodes, hide the spreadsheet, open New. For a new geometry node system, disconnect the input from the output. Then I'll do Shift A and get a string to curves node, and I'll connect that to the output so I can see it in the layout. And I don't see anything yet because I have nothing there yet. So the thing I'm gonna say is like, let's say like happy birthday, because I'm gonna use a font that's like balloons. So before that though, I'll do Shift A and get a transform node so I can rotate my string 90 degrees along the x-axis, which is the red axis or the red line. Then I'll do Shift A and add a fill curve to add some faces to the string and make sure that the fill type is n-gons. And then I'll do Shift A and add an extrude mesh node, which is going to add thickness to the string. So I'll just change the offset value to be 0.1. But if I look in the back, I notice that it's hollow on the inside and it's not filled. So what I'll do is I'll do Shift A and get a join geometry node. And when I connect it over here, it's going to already have the extrude mesh node, but I want to make sure that the fill curve node also is connected there. And now onto the fun part, which is the font. So I downloaded this font from dafont.com. It's called My Cute Balloon by this person, Katak Cutting Studio. All right, and it's a demo, so I'm just gonna go to the folder and I have it downloaded here somewhere. If I could just find it, where is it? Okay, this one. Open font, and then this is what I'm gonna get. All right, so at this point, I'm just gonna go to Shift A. I'm gonna go to the end, do Shift A, and get a set material node and put that in here. And I'm going to just select that first material there. I'm gonna go into shading so that I could work with the materials. So for me, I want random colors, and so I'll do Shift A and get a color ramp where I'm going to actually access the colors that I want, and then I'll do Shift A and get an object information node so that those colors can be randomly assigned to whichever letter. So I'll make sure that that's connected to the factor, and then the color ramp is connected to the base color in the principal BSDF. And then you can clearly see right now I currently have black and white. So those colors are being like randomly assigned and it's a linear gradient of those colors. But I don't want a linear gradient of those colors. I want it to be either or color. So that's what I'm going to get there. But I want them to be different colors. So I have this colors site open. I think I'm just going to pick like random colors here. And I'll click on the tag and then the box and change the hex and paste my color in there. And then I'll continue doing that for the other colors, so just paste that in there. So like yellow, it's kind of like a happy birthday, colorful party. So plus to add a new tag, and then box, change that in there. And then a new one also, plus again, just put that in there. And that is what it's gonna look like. I'm just gonna play around with them a little bit so that I can get something going on here. Let me go to the front view by pressing the button under the escape key and hovering over front so I can see them better. Honestly, I think that's fine. Maybe just a little bit more pink would be good if I could just add a plus here and change that to this color. I think I like it that way. All right, I think I'm gonna leave it that way. And then at this point, I'm going to go to layout and I'm going to do Shift A and add a plane, mesh plane, S to scale, G to grab, and then X to grab along the X axis. And then edit mode by pressing on tab, edge select on the top left corner, select the back edge, E to extrude, and then Z to extrude along the Z axis, which is the blue one. And then edit mode to go back into object mode. And then I'm going to go to modifiers, which is the wrench icon, add a bevel, and that's going to add just kind of like a bevel to the edge of the backdrop, and I'm going to increase the segments and the amount so that it looks like a backdrop. And then I'm going to right click, not right click, but I'm going to click on the arrow and then apply it, and then right click shade smooth. And then what I'll do is I'll go to material preview, and wow, that's a lot. It's so bright. Let me go and turn this down a bit if I go into render preview, now it's going to look a little bit better, but I'm going to make this the light a sun, change the strength to 3, and then I'm going to press on G to grab, but Y to grab along the Y axis, and then R to rotate towards the letter, so kind of about here. And then I'm going to go back to front view by pressing the button under the escape key and hovering over front, and I'm going to just align my camera. Why does that keep happening? Align my camera to the view. Maybe it's better if I do this or this. They look like candies. All right, and then I'll do Control Alt Numpad 0. If that doesn't work, go to Edit, Preferences, Input, and make sure Emulate Numpad is on. If that still doesn't work, make sure you have a camera in the first place by doing Shift A and adding a camera. To get back into the view, you press on Numpad 0. To get out of the view, you press on the middle mouse button. All right, but I'm just gonna go a little bit like this, and then let's get on to the animation part. So back to geometry nodes. In order for anything to move, I'll have to do Shift A and get a translate instances node. Not that. Let me delete that. Shift A, translate instances, and put that in here. And what that does, it just moves the strings left and right, or up and down, or forward and backwards, but I don't want them to move all at the same time at the same place, as I always say. So what I'll do is I'll go into the viewport and I'll do Shift A and add an empty arrow. And that's what I'm going to use to control the movement of my letters. So I'm just going to call it control in the outliner. So in order for it to control the movement, I'm going to do Shift A and get a vector math node. And I'll just get, and I'll just change it from add to distance. And I'm going to get the distance between the position, so Shift A position of each of the letters, and also so I'm going to get the distance between the position of each of the letters and then the controller itself. So I'm going to go to the outliner and just drag it into this scene over here, put it and just connect the location to the vector. And that distance is what's going to determine how far these letters are going to move. So notice that H is like 0 units away from the controller, so that distance value is going to be 0. And so logically, if I put that into translation, I'm going to see that the H does not move because that value is 0, as you can clearly see. So now here's the thing. They're moving in kind of like a weird axis. So to kind of control where, or like the direction that they're moving, I'll do Shift A and get a combine XYZ node and put that right in here and make sure it's connected on the Y. So they move up and down, or in the Y-axis. So then I noticed that the closer I am, or the closer the controller is to a letter, the lower it is, and the farther away it is from a letter, the higher it is. I want the opposite to happen. So what I'll do is I'll do Shift A and get a color ramp node and put that before the combine XYZ. And I'll just go on the little arrow here and click on flip. And basically what that does is the color ramp starts from 0 to 1. And so when you click on flip color ramp, it goes from 1 to 0, and it kind of just does an opposite effect. That's kind of like all I know for now with like the science behind it. I should like kind of research more about it, but that's kind of the idea. Um, so yeah, and so now if I move my controller over the letters, it's kind of giving like a bouncy effect, which is pretty cool. So then the next thing is I want my letters, or the balloons, to move in a little bit of a more smoother way. So I'll do Shift A and add a float curve, and that's just going to smooth out my letters. So I'll just do something like this. And to kind of see the effect of it, let me go to layout and start like rendering. So I'm going to pull up my timeline. I want my video to be 80 frames, so I'll just kind of put 80 for the end. I'm going to press on end to get my location stuff. And in the first frame, which is the beginning of my video, I would want my controller to be at the beginning right before it starts affecting the letter H. So I'll move that kind of about here. A little bit here. And that location for me is negative 1.2704 meters. And so I'm going to hover over that location in my end panel, and I'm going to press I to insert a location keyframe. in keyframe 1, and it appears as a yellow diamond. And then I'm going to go to keyframe 80, which is the end of my video, and logically I would want my controller to be at the end of the letters. So I'm going to do G and X to move along the x-axis and move it right after it stops affecting the letter Y. And for me, that's 5.7475 meters. So I'm going to press, I'm going to hover over that location, and then I'm going to press I. And now I'm going to go to the timeline and press on T and change interpolation to be linear so that it just loops. And now if I play it, the controller's automatically gonna go through the letters or through the balloons really nicely. And then the other thing is the kind of the height that the balloons go to. So if I want to be able to control that, I can easily do that if I get a Shift A math node and then just select the multiplier. So multiply, and then just put that right before the combine XYZ. And let me just stop the video because it's making everything slower. And then I should probably save by doing Control S. So what's today's date? 8/22/22. All right, save Blender file. Okay, back to geometry nodes. Just gonna move that in here. And now just to kind of give a visual of what's happening, if I go through this, right, it's not moving. Whoops. All right. It's not moving past like this line over here. But what the multiplier does, it just increases that height. So if I just change this to be like 2, notice that it's gonna now not move past this line. It reaches up until this line. So that's what the multiplier does. It kind of like, determines the height at which your balloons like go up to. So yeah, I'm just gonna go and remove that and probably do something like 1. So it's not 2, or maybe just like 0.8. All right. And then let me just go to layout and then press N to get rid of that. Pull down my timeline. I'm going to do right click vertical split and then go to geometry nodes. So I can just kind of play around with the float curve a little bit and see the effect of it. So let me play the video. And then as I move the flow curve, I'll notice it's either going to start going slower or faster. And if I do that, something like that. All right, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. So yeah, now the last part is, let me just get rid of this screen by, whoops, let me pause this and then join areas. Okay. Um, I'm not sure if I want to give the backdrop a background so that things stand out. I could do that. Maybe like happy birthday. It stands out a little bit more. So maybe I'll do that. And then let's see. I'm just trying to get that view. Whatever. Anyway, numpad 0. Now I'm going to go to, let's see, output properties, which is here. I'm going to go to the output, select a folder for all of my 80 frames to go into. So it's 8/22/22 today, accept, and then make sure file format is PNG. And then I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more to kind of, oh, I just don't want to be too zoomed out. I could do something like that, but then the Y doesn't go in. I'd rather be zoomed in and then this shrunk a little bit, just like scaled like that. And then let me just go back to keyframe 1. So it's kind of like that. All right, so that looks good. I'm just going to now render animation. and then wait until all the 80 frames are rendered as PNG images in the folder that I designated it to. Alright, so now that all of the 80 frames are rendered, I'm going to X out of here, and then I'm just going to go to the top, video editing. If your computer size is like, screen size is small, just scroll down and you'll see the plus sign, go to video editing, move this all the way to the left, and then add an image sequence, and I'm going to go to where I have it. I'm going to select the first image, and then scroll all the way down, and then shift select the last image, and then add an image strip. And then, what Blender is doing is just putting all of these images together. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to go to output and then select a new folder, or just don't. I just like select a new folder for my video to go into. And then the format should be FFmpeg video. The encoding should be, where is it? High quality. And then the container should be MPEG-4. All right. All right, I decided I wanted to add one more thing, which is like audio. So I'm gonna use this one from, let's see, which one was it? This one. I downloaded that one, and I'm gonna just add it real quick over here. So I'll add sound, and it should be somewhere here. Which one is it? Fun whistle, add sound strip, and then now I'm just gonna go and select what sound I want. And then I think I actually want the sound at the end. So I'm just going to see what frame that is. So currently, if I click on that, that's 3110. So if I just go onto here and run, I'll just go here, 311, or maybe just 3100, and I'll play that. All right, so let me move this all the way over here then. All right, so I'll have to find where there is music. It's a long thing. Okay, so how about I go to 2900 and play that. All right, so I'll do 2900. So start at 2900, and then let me go, trying to see where this stuff is. All right, so this is 2900. Let me go to 2900 here, and then it ends at 2917. So over here, I wonder where the thing is. It's probably at the end. There we go. Right here. So I'm gonna right click and then split, and then I'm going to just get rid of the beginning by pressing X and then moving this. I just wish there was a way for me to, let's see, snap strings to current frame, set preview range, insert gaps, make meta strip. What does this even mean? Group selector strips into meta strips. Frame where selected strips will be snapped. So I guess if I want to go back to frame 0, and I just want to go back to 1, I can now go back to this frame and then right click, snap strips to current frame. Oh my god, did I figure it out? Oh yes, I did. Or not. Okay, let me go back to keyframe 1. Keyframe 1. And let me see when it actually ends. Interesting. I think I cut way too much out of it because oh my god. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll snap there. I'll split there and then get rid of this. And then that should be kind of like at the end, right? And then what I'll do is I'll do add sound and I'll add it again. But then let me see. I would have to go back to 290. This sucks. Okay, 900. And then just kind of go a little bit. Let me just like, honestly, let me just like split it there and then X that and then go to keyframe 0 and then right click and then snap string to the keyframe. All right, and then let me run it. Is this thing like serious? It's like so short and the animation's like not that. Let me go back then. So I started at, I'll have to get like a big portion of it. Like a way bigger portion than that. Maybe over here. That's 399. Okay, so let me do 399 and then K for split and then X that and then go to frame 0 and then right click and then snap string to current frame. All right, now let me see. That sounds so bad. All right, and then just move this downwards here and then go to output properties and make sure that, let's see, where is the, for the video, the frame range, output, encoding, audio, MP3, and then honestly just stop it here, so K, oops, not there, K, and then X out of there, and then it's gonna end at frame 80. There we go. And then like, let me go to layout and try to see the slow for me to see, so whatever. So at this point, I'll just go back to video editing and just render. I'm gonna do Control S and then render animation. Let's see, render animation, and then it should render. And I'll try to see where the folder is. That's almost done. All right, now let me open it up. Oh, okay. I'm really proud of that because in Blender it just looked so slow. I couldn't really tell how the sound was gonna line up. But yeah, that's it for today then. Bye.